Hey guys, it's Bombbuster72 back again. Today I want to talk to you about the new PMAG 40 AR/M4, and this is the Gen M3 that we're talking about. These are 40 round AR-15 magazines. So I got my first PMAG back in 2008. That's the first time I ever had owned one, or I guess had used one, and that was while I was in Afghanistan. While I was there, EOD is something unique. We're in charge of the amnesty box. We take everything out of the amnesty box. When people are coming back to the States, if they have something that they're not allowed to have, they'll throw it in there. That way they don't get in trouble when they try to come through customs. It's our job. We either disperse it back out, we issue things back out to people, or sometimes we just blow it up and get rid of it. There happened to be a PMAG in there, and this was one of the early models. I don't know if it's the Gen M1 or not, but it was definitely an early model, early version. I put it into my regular rotation, and that thing was awesome. Now that magazine, it really did quite well in that environment. Really all I had to do, I blow the dust out every once in a while, and that was it. My standard issue, my aluminum, just regular GI issue ones, I had to take them apart, clean them really well, and I even had to change the springs partway through that deployment. So last June, Magpul came out, and they announced that they were coming out with this 40 round magazine. Now if you guys remember last June, they were also having a lot of problems in the state that they were in. Colorado was going through a lot of flux, and they were changing a lot of laws there. They had actually put a magazine size restriction, and Magpul didn't like that. They actually said, if you do that, we're going to leave. Basically, the state said, we don't think you really will. Magpul did. Magpul is now out of there. They were going through that transition where they were moving all their production, they were moving the company. It wasn't very easy to get your hands on these things. They also were ramping up a lot of production, and they were really trying to sell all of these magazines and flood the Colorado market because they were going to be grandfathered in. But now that things have kind of calmed down a little bit and they've settled into their new location, these things are really starting to show up a lot more. So let me tell you a little bit about them. First off, these, as I said, these are 40 round magazines. They list for $19.95, which is very reasonable when you consider just the reputation and the reliability that Magpul has. If you take a tape measure along the back side of these things, you'll see that it measures right around 10 inches, which is just about 2 inches longer than a standard 30 round magazine. And they work in a wide variety of AR-15s, M4s, M16s, all of those platforms, but they did something new, and they actually made them so they're a little bit easier to be compatible with things like the SA-80 as well as the SCAR-16. They also improved the polymer. It's a little bit higher strength, and that's for the body and the floor plate. They also added stainless steel springs. It also has a low friction 4-way anti-tilt follower. Of course, as standard with all PMAGs, they come with the impact and dust cover. Now these also have what they're calling a dot matrix ID panel. And if you guys are like me and you're old, you remember dot matrix as being a type of printer from way back when. But that isn't what we're talking about here. This allows you to mark your magazines, and even with use and abuse, that paint isn't going to all just scrape off of there. Now one thing that they added that I think is a brilliant idea. They added this over insertion stop. They added this section here so that you can't over insert this. Now that actually is a great thing, because a lot of problems rise from when you over insert these magazines, especially if you're lying prone and you're resting. If you're resting that entire rifle and you're resting it on that magazine, it can actually put a little bit too much upward pressure on there, and you can have a lot of reliability problems. Hopefully this will prevent that from happening. I haven't tested it out yet, but it's a great idea, that's for sure. I really like the strength and the reliability and the reputation that PMAGs have, and I'm really glad to add these new 40 rounders to my regular stockpile. By far, PMAGs are what I have the most of for my AR-15, and I'm really glad now that I can have 40 rounders for that. If you like this video, be sure to like and share it, and you can always subscribe by clicking on the bullet. And until next time, take care and be safe.